Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to just go over my options. So, I don't want to live in an RV ever again. After seeing how fast and thoroughly they burn and how, they're just so flammable. So anyway, don't want to do that. Now, so what I've been contemplating is a rooftop tent and a refrigerator freezer installed into the truck. And then having a porta potty delivered to the property and maintained. So that takes care of everything but showers. And that would probably be like the first thing I worked on, like getting another cistern and then hooking up some kind of shower situation, right? And that would get me doing all that stuff. The roof rack is kind of spendy. Off-road roof rack that can handle the kind of weight that a rooftop tent is pretty. So I was going to build a custom one myself that actually goes out to the front bumper of the truck. And then because I need the truck to be able to tow the gooseneck, so I can't put a regular rack on the truck. So it would go from like pretty much just a little bit forward of the wheel wells all the way to the front bumper. So that's going to take me a lot of time, probably cost some hundreds of bucks. And of course, I'd want to put on, fire extinguishers, probably 2 or 3 fire extinguishers just out ready. Other places on the truck, other places on the rack with stuff welded, because I'm living in it. It's my, it's my whole house. So I want that roof rack is kind of what makes it possible, and then how good I build it and durable and options just makes my life easier. More stuff I can put in there, this type of thing, right? So that's one point. Now this is all post the cleanup, and the cleanup is basically getting all the stuff that's in this giant burnt pile up and hauled to the appropriate, either recycled steel. There's probably going to be a burn pile, so stuff that just needs to burn out more. And then just a regular dump run. Dump runs, whatever it takes. Once all that's done, see, I can't even really live out there until then because it's so toxic. It's just horrible. Like, to get anywhere near where the wind's blowing towards someplace and within 100 feet all the way around it, it just blows that toxic fumes off. It's still a month later. It's just bad. I wear a mask out there every time because it's just so toxic. And I got sick already once off of it, so I'm not doing that again. So I really don't, and honestly, being out there is just depressing. Like, I go out there and I'm just fucking depressed. I just miss my cats, like, fucking more than anything I've ever missed in my life. And, and I think it's just the combination of every single thing. I had things that I had from my childhood. Like, I had this whole box of memories that had stuff from, my childhood. And, all the way up. And it's just everything's just gone. And so as I'm looking, okay, and I got the roof rack now, and I got the tent. The tent was $1,000. The roof rack's, hundreds of dollars. The refrigerator freezer for inside the truck, there's another $1,200-1,500. And I was just sitting here making a list of all the different things that I need, like a plate. I bought myself a bowl and silverware so far. And, I had this really cool water bottle. It was glass and it had a rubber housing on it. And I had that thing for years and I loved it. I dropped it so many times and it never broke. And it just, now I just bought, fucking plastic bottles. So I'm just looking at all this stuff, right? Just stuff. Just to be able to fucking live out on my property. To live off grid is not just some basic fucking thing. I mean, there's people out there just roughing it like, homeless style level almost. Obviously they have a home, but, there's some people that are roughing it out there more than I need to rough. I want to rough it, roughing it hasn't, wasn't, camping on occasions throughout my life, but I'm not like, I was roughing it for 2 months in that small RV, and that was no fun. And honestly, even in the RV that I had, I hit my head on stuff probably daily, and I always had stuff piled on the floor because there's just not enough room. So, it was roughing it. I'm trying to build a house that's 4,000 square foot house and have a greenhouse that's another, couple thousand, maybe even 4,000 square foot greenhouse as well, right? And I had all the stuff that you'd ever want to put into the kitchen, like all the mixers and everything and blenders and cooking and all this stuff, right? And it's like, I'm making a list of things. Okay, well, if I buy a blender and I get, another, cup thing to drink out of, and okay, then I can get all the stuff in my smoothies, because that used to be one of my daily meals. And, then I can have this, that, I can get that back, right? And I can start having smoothies every day. And so, and then, well, if I get a hot plate, I can, start to maybe cook myself meals and get a cast iron pan. And I'm going over all this stuff, and I'm like, man, it's going to cost me so much money. Basically all the money has gone to the truck and trailer. That's the biggest one. I got this this thing that I don't even have yet that cost me like $4,300, I think. And it's a power box. So I don't have to buy a generator. It turns the truck into a generator, basically. So I got that. I paid off the feds, so I don't owe any more money to the feds. So if some other fucked up thing happens to me where I don't die, and then I'm unable to pay them, like, that can't happen anymore. Like, that's done. So between the truck, the trailer, the power box upgrade to the truck, and paying off the feds, that's like most of the money. I got money in my pocket that I have the backhoe and the trailer in the shop right now. Both of them needed, like, I didn't really realize the trailer needed work, but it needed quite a bit of work. A heavy 10,000 pound axles or a whole, like, I didn't even realize so much stuff with those. Like, I took them in to get the brakes checked, and they're like, oh, there's these whole oil bath bearing things that these little caps, oh yeah. So needless to say, my cheap trailer is gone up in price considerably. But it is a valuable trailer. It's a shorty 10,000 pound gooseneck, 10,000 pound axle. It's a 20,000 pound gross vehicle weight, right? So my backhoe fits on there perfectly, and basically I needed something to haul all this twisted metal I have. Like, I have another trailer, but it's a toy hauler. and it would have just gotten thrashed. It would have gotten destroyed in this process of hauling all this shit. Unless I just chopped up everything and spent tons of time. But I'm just trying to like back up to the load, hook onto it. This trailer even has a winch, right? So I can just winch, backhoe, big chunks onto the freaking trailer and just be done with the project in a short amount of time. It's taken a long time to get to that point. Getting the backhoe running, getting the money, getting the truck. Like, before I'm going to haul the backhoe, I had to get tires and an oil change, and it's about $600-700 worth of suspension, new shocks. I got new shocks. They needed new shocks, right? So, cheap truck, cheap trailer, both needed, well, the truck needed I think I've spent actually more on the trailer, because the trailer, I needed chains and wheel blocks, and it has a strap option, so when I do haul the big load of stuff, I have the straps already. So I had to haul the backhoe, so I got to get the whole chains and the chain. I mean, there's a lot of stuff just to be able to haul stuff. This trailer was stripped. Then I had to take, there's these jacks that go in the back that keep the back from just dropping down. And like, I could not find those. The company that's working on the trailer couldn't find them. So I just had to go to a freaking fab shop. And that's another couple $100, right? And the backhoe's in the shop, and I've got no clue what that's going to cost me. I mean, that hopefully is not going to be much, but one of the problems is that the rear hydraulic distribution block for the backhoe part is just soaked in freaking hydraulic fluid. Like, it's just running on it, but I don't really see it running. I just see it soaked in it. Who knows how much that, it could just be an O-ring, and it could be, nothing, but it also could be something. They haven't called me, so it's probably not bad, but it's still going to be a chunk of money. So I've got the chunk of money that I'm just basically sitting on, waiting to get the trailer and the backhoe. And then whatever money is left over after those two expenses, that's pretty much all the money I have to buy all that stuff that I just went over, right? So I just listed all that stuff, and all that stuff is like $3,000, 3,000 plus, right? More than what I'm gonna have left over after paying the backhoe and the trailer. I'm not gonna have $3,000 left to buy all that stuff, right? And, bedding and pillows and, just literally everything, right? And so to go right now, this motel is $300 a week, and I could have room service every day. I tip the room service $1 or $2 every time they clean, and so that's like $50 a month for daily maid service, and $300 a month for a bed, a refrigerator, a shower that just blasts super hot water. Something I missed living in an RV. Taking a really, really long, really, really hot shower just is not a thing. Maybe in like super fancy RVs or something, but I don't know off-grid how much, tank you have, but I'm telling you, long hot showers, I love those. And I will have a house off-grid that can do long hot showers, if I have a house at all ever, but that's in the plans. So this whole situation, right? I've got to get the place cleaned up. I just can't leave, a giant pile of toxic mess. Now, as far as like the burnt shipping container is concerned, like, I don't feel really any pressure to clean it out or to move it, because, it's just an eyesore. sealed up. It's not like, I mean, there is burnt paint on it, but it's not like a giant pile of nasty shit, right? And then my car is a whole nightmare. Like, the key burned up, and then they pulled it away from the shipping container, because the shipping container was literally hot. Everything out around it was hot. So they pulled it away, but the steering wheel got locked. And then if you keep turning it, it's going to run into something. And it's on gravel. And it needs to go to the shop to get the key changed. There might be a way around that. But, I mean, this is a huge freaking nightmare. Just to get my car, and it runs and everything, but just to get the car key. So, and then there's some just other cleanup and stuff. Just like, you know, there's just soot and smoke damage on all everything that's outside. Everything's just covered in smoke, and everything's just nasty. So it all has to be cleaned up underneath my like little shed areas, right? So now once all that's done, then in theory I could move out to the property at that point, right? And that all that cleaning stuff is going to go pretty damn quick once the backhoe and the trailer and all that stuff are arranged. Like, I mean, I was out there for 3 days jump starting the backhoe. I mean, literally just running the truck for hours on just to get the backhoe to be able to start. And then the next day it was a little less, and the next day a little less, and the next day it started on its own. And now it's, you know, it's back to charged up, and it just starts right up, no problems. If you start it every day and run it for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, it's fine, right? So everything will come together super fast, right? Bam. The load up, the hauling, clean up, and, you know, the car is going to be kind of a hassle, but getting everything on the inside, you know, basically there's like just a lot of building material stuff and odds and ends stuff that just needs to be sorted, and as it's sorted, then kind of cleaned off. And then once all that stuff's sorted and cleaned off, it's like the benches and the tables and that kind of stuff needs to be cleaned out. And my coffee roaster, that thing's just right at ground zero, so it needs to be just, you know, cleaned out. And just tons of cleaning. But that's like a couple days of organizing after the hauling's done, which this is all going to go fast because it's like that big pile is what I really want to get out of there before I really dig into anything else, because it's just so toxic. I already am wearing a mask, and sometimes I can smell the shit through the mask. It's so, especially inside the shipping container. Like I was looking around in there in the burnt one for the missing fire extinguishers, and I had to hold my breath with the mask on. So it's so bad. So I'm just trying to get all that big major stuff out of there first. Then once that's out of there, it won't be so noxious, and then I can clean up this. Bam. Okay, so now it's all cleaned up. Once it's all cleaned up, I can then potentially live out there again, right? Live out there, but I've got to spend about $3,000 at least to get the minimums, and that doesn't even include any sort of water system, right? So realistically, it's at about $4,000, I think it would take of just getting, you know, little things, you know, like a freaking a cook plate, you know, a thing that gets hot when you plug it in, you know. I'm going to stay away from stuff that burns for now, like burners, and yeah, I'm just, you know, I got this beefy generator truck package inverter that I can just plug whatever into and just run whatever. So that's what I'll do. Right. So about $4,000 worth of shopping to get back out on the property. Now I'm out there and just living, doing whatever. And the plan would basically be to try to what I'd be working on is that whole project with the rammed or open source rammed earth crowdfunding project, which I've talked to an architect that sounded really into the whole idea. But again, on that idea, it's going to cost me money. Like, I got to go pay the architect on the very first thing. I got to go pay him. And that's probably going to be like $500 or something like that, right? And then I got to pay for the website, which I almost did. But then GoDaddy had this shit where I was trying to buy a website, and no matter what option I selected, it was going to be $50 a year for the following years. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? $50 a year for a fucking domain? Fuck you, GoDaddy. You're fucked. I'm so tired of GoDaddy. Fucking bullshit. Like, really? They're like $7 a year, $12 a year. Not fucking $50. Especially for a $2 for the first year of some obscure .online, not even a .com or a .org. Yeah. So anyway, I was literally gonna buy it, and then I saw that shit, and I'm like, fuck this shit, right? I'm not trying to just be blowing money on just all this shit. I mean, it's a fucking awesome idea that could fucking help out tons of people, but I'm kind of in a fuck situation right now. Like, I live in a fucking motel, and I don't even have a plate or a pillow of my own, right? I mean, like, I got nothing. Literally I got my fucking, I got shipping containers full of a business that I'm having a hell of a time selling, and I've got my tools, and a bunch of building materials, my motorcycle, my car, my truck, like these things. But then like a glass, like a fucking drinking glass. I don't have a coffee mug. I don't have a coffee pot. I used to roast all my own coffee and brew it all and grind it. I don't have any of that shit. Nothing. Like, just go back down the list and just try to have my nice little simple life maybe my life was simple, maybe it wasn't, but my nice life that I was at the time of the fire, finally enjoying life and had been enjoying life for some months after just nothing but shitstorm after shitstorm, right? For way too long. And just, and it gets going good for a heartbeat, and then, oh, you thought that was a shitstorm back then? No. How about just losing fucking everything? And then I got medical bills, too. Like, fuck. So, when I add this all up, it would cost me about $4,000 once the cleanup's done, which that cleanup is, hopefully going to be done. I should be done by the end of March. It should totally be done. That should be realistic. So that's like another $900 in the hotel, and living in a situation where I can't cook any of my own meals. I mean, I've broken down and started to use a fucking microwave. Like, I never use microwaves. I've known forever, but, it's like, fucking, I just inhaled who knows what and was in the hospital for 5 days. Oh, fun couple microwaves is gonna what? Kill me a couple days sooner? So yeah, I'm currently just unhealthy as fuck. I mean, breaking out on my face, gaining fucking fat, just depressed all the time, and just living in this fucking hotel room with the only thing to look forward to is putting on a fucking gas mask to go clean up a fucking giant toxic mess, right? So, and then after that, what do I have to look forward to? Moving into a fucking tent and having to walk on dirt every time I want to do anything. Go to the bathroom, walk on dirt or mud. Cook food, walk on dirt or mud. Like, there's no break. There's no shower. There's no end of the day. There's no start of the day. It's just all camping, right? And that just does not sound like fun at all. That doesn't sound like fun. Zero fun. Like having a really nice RV and having everything really set up still was hard to have fun. Still hard to get things right. And now with nothing, like, I'm already the most depressed person I've ever been by 1,000 my whole life. Day in, day out. Just, right? And now I'm going to go fucking live in a tent. I won't be around that long. It just does not sound like a fucking life that I'm going to fucking like, I've had an up and down life, but this is just being fucking like this, yeah. Anyway, so the alternative, I got to get all the cleaning and all that. That's all has to be done. So then, once that's done, moving forwards. Now, if I do this, I can throw this list that I just made away of all the shit that I need to buy. I don't need to buy a fucking rooftop tent. I don't need to build a custom rack for my fucking truck. I don't need to do any of that shit, right? I am going to move to Thailand. It's $1,000 a month to live there for everything. That's your rent. I could have a hotel room. This quality for $15 a day instead of $300 a week. Or no, yeah, $15 a day. What does that work out to a week? We'll do the math here really quick. I'm sure somebody else has already figured it out. That's $100. So it's probably like $400 a month instead of $1,200 a month, right? And then like everything's just cheap, right? And I don't know anybody. I don't know anything, and nothing is gonna like. I even just being in bed reminds me of my cats. Like the veterinarian is right there, And then I ran into one of the girls that works at the vet at freaking Whole Foods one day, and I was buying kitty greens for my cats, and she was there, and so literally I go into fucking Whole Foods, and it's weird because I don't want to ever forget my cats. But every time I think about them, I get sad, and I'm kind of tired of that. So, like, just everything reminds me of my cats, and everything reminds me of what I lost. And I don't think there's going to be anything that reminds me of anything in Thailand. Like, I don't know. But it sure does seem like a much better alternative in my life than living in a tent on top of my truck. Like, that literally could just be the fucking end of me. Like, I might not ever want to fucking do anything else again. Not to say that I couldn't come back and do that, I'm going to have to come back. I have a lawsuit. I'm going to have to go to trial. And so, I'll have to come back for that. And at that point, I might have a different perspective on things. Now, even once I win that lawsuit, things aren't going to be that great because that lawsuit put me, the fucking lawsuit, I have a lawsuit because these people put me into fucking debt really bad and fucked up my whole life. Again, I shouldn't say my whole life, they fucked up my credit is what I should say, yeah. So I got a lawsuit with them, and that's just basically gonna. It's never gonna fix my credit. My credit's fucked now because of them, but it'll pay it off and get it out of my hair. So at that point, you know, things will be a lot better for me financially, because right now all that debt is just weighing down. Now I've literally broke as fuck continued to pay all my fucking bills late, and contemplating, like, you know, fucking them all off. Like, you know, like, damn, am I gonna fucking be having nothing, not even a fucking tent on the roof of my truck, and then be paying my bills and end up, you know, oh, I don't have the money one day for the fucking hotel, and now I'm fucking living in my truck with fucking with nothing, and but I paid my bills. You know, is that smart? I mean, do you fucking push yourself to the point of homelessness, or do you pay the bills, or do you be homeless? You know. So if I go to Thailand, I don't think I'll, you know, I easily have an extra $1,000 a month. I honestly, I use it, I mean, above my bills. I mean, it's never the same. Every month's different. But if everything stays within the parameters that it has, you know, $2,000-3,000 a month, over and above what my bills are, in Thailand could equal paying off my bills a lot faster, or living it up in Thailand. Well, they say you can live here for 1,000, but man, you can have a good time for 3. Well, we'll see. I mean, it all depends on what it's like there. And, you know, going right into the heart of the virus. Fuck it. It's a consideration about this much. Because I'm super healthy. And I have no fear of death. I don't like being uncomfortable, though. Which, having a virus is super uncomfortable. So that's where this much of the consideration comes in for me. Anyway, this video has really gotten long, but there's a lot of shit that I had to kind of get figured out here, and or get out into the vlogosphere, because that's where I'm at. I'm right there. Either I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start buying shit that I need to get by, or I'm not, and I'm just gonna fucking go to Thailand. Which I had $500 voucher in my fucking in my Alaska Airlines Easy Biz from a flight I canceled, and it disappeared because I didn't use it up fast enough. And then the voucher got sent to the person that I bought the flight for. But it got sent to somebody else's email, so they don't know about it. And yeah, so yeah, that was $500. That was my flight. That could have been my flight, one-way trip to Thailand, is about $500. Now I'll be going into the bad time of the year, their rainy season, but I'm from Oregon. I don't give a shit. They got rain. It's warm rain, typically, and it never freezes. So that kind of changes your whole dynamic for the kind of shit you have. Like, I'm sure I'll have to buy some new clothes, because I basically bought winter clothes to replace my clothes. Okay, so I just managed to ramble for another 2 whole minutes after saying this was a rambling video. Like, subscribe, peace.